What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I've got a really quick video for you guys just talking about the Jumpshot nerf that came with the launch of Modern Warfare 2. This is something that I think most people that Jumpshot a lot noticed right away when the game launched. When you Jumpshot now, it slows down your aim down sight speed, so you aim down sight slower in a Jumpshot than you do if you just stay on the ground. And I didn't really think it was worth making an entire video about until recently when a certain claim started floating around the community. I think this came from the competitive side of things, but somebody said that this aim down sight time penalty causes you to aim down sight exactly 3 times longer than if you weren't jump shotting. And right away that raised a few flags for me because 3 times longer is insane. Like, we're talking over a second for a lot of the guns in the game. And I just thought that can't be true, so I decided to hop in, do the testing for myself here. I tested with a wide variety of different weapon types that have different base aim down sight times, and let's just go through the results with you guys right now. And let's start this off with a really fast aiming down sight gun. This is the X12 pistol. By default, this aims down sight in 150 milliseconds. However, when you jump shot, it's now slowing it down to around 234 milliseconds. Keep in mind, there is some frame rounding here. These aren't exact coded values, but it is within the margin of 1 frame, which is 16 milliseconds at 60 FPS. So this is definitely not 3 times slower. This is about 36% slower, give or take a couple percentage points. Next, let's cover an SMG, and with the Vel 46, the default aim down sight time is 200 milliseconds, and while jump shotting, this aim down sight time is slowed down to about 317 milliseconds. So again, this is right around that 36-37% change to our aim down sight speed, not a 300% change. Then we have an assault rifle. I chose the M4 here, and with this, it's 36% slower. After that, we have a battle rifle, and again, we have that exact value of 36% slower here with our aim down sight speed. The exact same trend follows suit with the SPR 208. However, when we get into the LMGs, I picked the slowest aiming LMG in the game, the RAL MG. And with this one, it was only a 21% change to our aim down sight speed while jumping. And I believe the reason for this one is you're not in the air for that full aim down sight speed, unlike with most of the other guns that I've tested up until now. So we're only getting that slowdown for a portion of when we're aiming down sight. And it was a pretty similar story with the Signal 50 sniper rifle. This one was only 29% rather than that 36 to 37% range. So does jump shotting cause you to aim down sight 3 times slower? No, absolutely not. It looks like this is probably coded to be about 35% if you do a little bit of rounding there. Typically they like using exact values, and like I said, there is some frame rounding. So if I had to guess, this is likely coded at a 35% reduction to your aim down sight speed, which by the way is still noticeable, especially when you have a slower aiming gun. Adding an extra 35% on top of that already slow aim down sight speed is going to be really rough for you, especially with the faster time to kill in this game. But having said that, for aggressive playstyles, if you're using something like an SMG or an assault rifle that's not tuned with a horrible aim down sight time at least, it's still often in your best interest to be jump shotting in a lot of situations. I'm not saying you should do it in every single gunfight or every single situation, but you will be gaining certain advantages for jump shotting, especially if you're challenging a pre-aimed enemy around a corner. I found jump shotting is still often your best bet against these types of players. Now, as for my thoughts on this direct nerf to jump shotting that wasn't really mentioned at all, although it is pretty obvious to anybody that does jump shot a lot. Even as somebody that takes advantage of jump shotting a lot with my gameplay, I'm actually not really opposed to this adjustment. I think it could have been far worse. I've seen so many people calling for the inability to aim down sight at all while jumping, or even the inability to fire your gun if you're in the air. And I think both of those would be way overkill for a Call of Duty game. This isn't a milsim. Jump shotting has been a part of Call of Duty since at least COD 4, to varying degrees depending on the title. And I do think this is a change that I can live with. At the same time though, I feel like a lot of their design philosophy and a lot of their design decisions don't really take much of a holistic approach. I feel like Infinity Ward noticed that people are jump shotting more than they'd like them to. So instead of investigating the issue and figuring out why we're jump shotting so much more than other Call of Duty games, instead, they just decide, okay, we'll nerf jump shotting and that will slow them down from jump shotting and maybe they'll stop jump shotting as often. But the real root cause of this is the fact that our strafe speeds are not very fast. It's rarely viable to be strafing around a corner pre-aimed with a gun, ready to challenge somebody that's sitting behind a piece of cover and pre-aiming that angle that you're coming around. As a result, the best way to challenge those people in most scenarios is going to be to jump shot that corner. This will throw their aim off target, it gives you a bit of peeker's advantage, And it's just far better than any of the other alternatives. There's no ability to slide cancel that corner. There's no ability to fast strafe around that corner while aiming down sight. So of course we're gonna jump shot. So instead of just straight up nerfing the jump shot, I think a better solution would be buff the aim down sight strafe speeds, at least on a bunch of the guns in the game. It doesn't have to be across the board on absolutely everything, although I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that either. But I think that would go a long way into meeting some of the design goals that they're aiming for, which is keeping people a bit more grounded, and it would feel a whole lot more like older Call of Duty games. I'm fully on board with getting rid of some of the mechanics that kind of break the game. They break cameras, as people call it, like slide canceling, for instance, and even nerfing jump shotting a little bit like this. I'm fine with those things, as long as other design elements are being put into place that give us better options for more aggressive playstyles. Of course, those are just my thoughts on this whole situation, as well as the testing and the data for you. This is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. What do you think about this aim down sight jump shot nerf that they implemented in Modern Warfare 2? Do you like this nerf? Do you hate it? Are you kind of indifferent? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.